here with a brand new podcast with Nadia, the India and Nadia show, or Nadia and India, whichever way round you want to talk about it. Trans people, we are talked about all the time, but we're never actually seen or heard. That's how the world is, but this is our little attempt to change some of that. So how are you, Nadia?
I'm great. Better for being here with you.
It's fun, isn't it? We
It's going to be so much fun. I'm so excited.
We're being honest here. We have no idea how this is going to go.
No idea.
We're going to talk about all kinds of things. There's some serious stuff that's gone on in the world.
100%.
But a little lightness too. So obviously the big story over the last couple of weeks has obviously been the UK Supreme Court ruling. How have you been?
Oh, I am. I don't know. I'm speechless. I have more questions than answers actually myself. I think most of us do. It's taking me back to a much darker times where we had sort of a breathing period of time of somewhat peace and kindness in the world, but now I've been going back to the late 90s and early 2000s where we had no protective rights and everything is up in the air.
Yeah.
Even then, I think it was kinder to our trans experiences than it is now. I'm horrified. I'm in pain.
Yeah, it's really scary. I feel it's surreal. It's almost as if you've got to pinch yourself, as if it's actually happening.
Yeah.
And you know,
and every day it's like a pinching moment because you have this kind of crazy sort of domino effect. It's like ping, 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 ping. There's something going on in reference to our just mere existence.
It's like being in a war film.
Yeah.
Because when the news broke on that particular day, I actually had to pull over. I was listening to it on the radio. Lord Hodge make his announcement of the UK Supreme Court, and it was as if I was tuning in to some broadcast from the 1950s where this guy was just stripping away all of our rights.
Yeah.
And it really shook me up because we both had similar experiences, didn't we, with the first thought we had on hearing the news
without even talking to each other. I went straight for my driver's license, my gender marker, my ID. You went straight in for your passport. The only thing why I didn't go for my passport because I have a Portuguese passport. So I'm protected in that way.
Can you get me one?
Like, for sure.
Let's get married. Maybe we should get married while we still can.
And we come from a generation where we had to deal with that. FYI with Gen Xers. Well, some of us are.
Speak for yourself. I'm a millennial.
And we've been through that experience. Yes, I'm so worried for our trans youth.
I think this is the scariest time in history to be trans. I know when I went to the post office to put my application in to renew my passport, it still had 5 years left.
Yeah.
And I said, I need to renew my passport. And they said, well, you can't really do it. You need to make an appointment. And I said, no, I really need to renew my passport today to start the process. And they said, well, okay, come back at 3 o'clock. When I was in the queue at 3 o'clock and I got to the front, I felt like a criminal, even though I wasn't doing anything wrong. And I got there and the guy said, oh, have you got your old passport? And I handed it over and he looked at the photo, then he looked at me and he says,
your heart must have been racing then. Yeah, what's going to happen?
My heart skipped a beat.
Yeah, it skipped a beat.
He said, hold on a sec. I thought, oh no, something's wrong here. It's not going to be able to do it.
Yeah.
And he looked at it and he looked it up and then he looked up at me and he said, why are you renewing this?
Yeah.
There's 5 years left. So I had to make up a story, which was, oh, well, all my friends have got the biometric passports.
Well, I think
they're really quicker to use. Thankfully, it all got processed in time and we got sorted out. You know, that's the Supreme Court, so it's going to be a long-running story. We've said enough on that. But I want to talk about something else. Obviously, our background is reality TV. I came last on Celebrity Big Brother, and you...
I came first.
You came first! With a record number of votes.
Yes, to this day. Isn't that incredible?
Amazing. Would you do another reality show?
I would. My mum is a huge fan of the show and she would have loved for me to do the Big Brother version in Portugal.
Oh, wow.
And I think, whereas then I did it for myself 20 years ago. 20 years ago. But now I would do it for my mother. I think that'll be quite interesting.
I think that would be a really good watch,
Nadia.
Yeah. You should do that.
There've been talks, but it just kind of falls through a little bit. Listen, I'm a capitalist. I like money, so if they pay me, I'm happy to go. I love a bit of reality TV, and I think I am at my best when I am in sort of unscripted sort of kind of like moments. You know what I mean? That's what I'm at best.
Well, do you know what I got offered when I came out of Celebrity Big Brother?
Go on.
Celebrity Naked Attraction.
I think they've gone around. They've done the rounds there to everybody. Listen, they've gone around to every single person. No one chose to do it.
Did you hear what I just said? Celebrity Naked Attraction.
I know, because I was offered the same thing.
Were you offered it as well?
Yes, they wrote to me with like 6 figures or somewhat. I was like, no. So actually, I don't really like that. I do. Oh my god, now I would do it for that kind of money.
This is insane. This is crazy.
So, what was your reason for not doing it?
Celebrity Naked Attraction, where you strip starkers and you stand in a test tube.
I know, yeah.
I'm not going to do that for any amount of money. So anyway, the program didn't go ahead because obviously they couldn't get enough people to strip off, and I was one of the people that wouldn't think. But there's a reality TV show that's in the news at the moment. It's called I Kissed a Boy.
Love Danny Minogue.
It's a
She's
big
fabulous.
show. BBC One, groundbreaking.
Ignore. It's just our producer over there in the background. I'm sorry. He's distracting me.
I hit your camera.
Honestly,
they're too clumsy.
We can't get to stop this. Okay, we love you.
Jesse actually suffers from hay fever, a special type of hay fever. Where, you know the blossom? It gets stuck in his throat. I call it hairy spores.
I don't know the reference to that, but I'm sure it has some meaning.
Let's not talk about spores. So,
but
back to this, we're talking about the new reality TV show. I think this is the 2nd season on BBC. I Kissed a Boy.
BBC
3.
Is that still a thing?
Yeah.
Do you still pay a TV license? Do you have a TV license?
We're bouncing about
do we need to have a TV license at this point in our life?
Yes,
in this moment in our society?
Nadia, let's just stick to the topic.
No, so I don't want to, because I think I need to cancel my BBC license.
I want to talk about I Kissed a Boy.
Okay, go on. Go kiss a boy. Yes, go on. I'm thinking about my direct debits.
So I Kissed a Boy. It's a gay guy dating show. One of the contestants is a trans man, and all the TERFs, the gender criticals, they've all kicked off, and they're saying this is terrible because you're basically tricking guys into kissing a girl. Now we know that is absolute nonsense. But what's your view on that?
I don't know. I am not understanding what's the big thing about it.
I agree. My view is that if you're attracted to somebody, obviously you're attracted to them. The question of whether somebody is trans or not, and at what point you would share that with somebody, is obviously up to the individual as far as I'm concerned. I think it's okay to get to know somebody, but if things are going to become intimate in a physical sense, then that's probably the time that you would say it. Or if you were really confident, you could say it right.
I've never said that before. I think I've come to the point where I've said, listen, if you're thinking of having children, I am not that kind of girl.
Lord Hodge, in his ridiculous summing up in the UK Supreme Court, he actually started jumping in and he defined who people should be able to be attracted to and legally called a lesbian. And but by his logic, that would make me and you, I guess, gay guys, even though that we're obviously not gay.
No, I'm not comfortable with that terminology. I'm not comfortable with that.
I want to tell you about a change in the law, though, that happened 2 months ago in the UK. Very quietly, the CPS, the Crown Prosecution Service in the UK, changed the laws, and now if a trans woman meets a guy on a night out, they have to tell the guy that they are trans before they
This is in law?
This is in law. Before they even kiss. And if you kiss...
Are you serious?
I'm serious. If you kiss somebody without them knowing you are trans, you go to jail. And you don't just go to a woman's jail, you go
this
to a
is right here in the
man's
UK.
jail now. Yeah,
United Kingdom, Great Britannia, go.
Even if you've got a gender recognition certificate, even if you've got full female anatomy like us, you go to a male jail, which is just insane.
I didn't know about that. This is what
I mean.
Important.
These things are happening all the time, and there's so much happening that it's just not making the news. If you think about it, I used to be on Loos Women, This Morning, all the daytime shows. You obviously did those shows as well. You did you won Big Brother with a colossal amount of votes. Yet why aren't we on TV? Why aren't any trans people on TV?
They wouldn't have us, would
It's insane. We're literally blacklisted.
Now.
Why isn't there a Trans Loose Women episode where maybe they have
even like
5 of us?
Even like a symbolic, once a year,
of course, trans visibility.
Yeah, week. I know, something just so simple, but it will be so great? Meaningful
it
to
would be
all
so,
of us.
Yeah. I would just like to see trans people from all ages, all kind of backgrounds, starting to be represented on TV. Just as you look back in history, I mean, the big changing point for me for gay people was when gay people started popping up in soap operas as regular characters. They weren't in the news because they were gay. They just happened to be the landlord of the local pub, or they were running the corner shop, and they were gay as an extra thing. And the same thing happened with Black and Asian people. As soon as you start getting representation in media, that is actually more powerful than any kind of bashing heads together and arguing the toss. But talking of trans icons, as it were, can we just pay homage to Nicola Sturgeon?
Amen. Yes, we love Nicola Sturgeon.
What's your views on Nicola?
I think she was way ahead of her time. She was right there in the forefront for us.
For me, Nicola Sturgeon has been the best British politician of probably the last 20 years. And what I really like about her, she clearly has principles.
Yes.
She sticks to her guns.
Yeah.
And she obviously cares about trans people. I don't know her personal circumstances, whether she's got a trans relative or a trans friend, but she clearly
just comes from a humanistic place, human.
But she clearly understands the subject. But for me, she's a trans icon.
She's like an honoree. She's a trans woman honoree for me.
Definitely. I just had.
I love her.
I'm sorry, this is going to happen a lot during our podcast where we bounce around
we do.
quite a bit. But I've just thought, when we were talking about why don't they have a trans Loose Women for Trans Visibility Week, you could actually call it Loos Women. As in a loo.
I'm not even sure we need to go and change anything.
We're
not reinventing, but we don't need to reinvent.
You missed my joke.
What is your joke?
Loos Women, as in L-O-O.
Oh.
Like flushing a loo? Okay, I thought that was a funny joke.
I think that was, I guess maybe... Okay, leave your comments below. Let us know. Was that funny? I am down for the toilet talk.
It was a funny joke.
It was a funny joke. It was I guess maybe, I don't know. But yeah.
You're from Portugal.
Yes, I am.
Not that anyone would guess from your accent. But what do you think about the news this week that
Actually, I actually am British. I do have a complexity which is foreign accent syndrome.
Really?
Yeah, so suddenly I was, I'm British, born and bred.
Please don't say this, because the TERFs will go wild. They'll say you're trans Portuguese or something.
Oh my God! Oh no, that's racist. Foreign accent syndrome. So suddenly I woke up and I had this accent. So yes, I am.
Well, anyway,
that's another joke. If you get it, you get it. Foreign accent syndrome is a real thing.
Anyway, the fact that you're from Portugal, Europe's in the news this week. The new rainbow map of Europe is out. And Britain,
shocking,
in 2015 was the best place to be LGBT.
Number 1.
In Europe. It's now 22nd. What's your views on that?
It just makes me so sad, because I don't think the country is innately anti-LGBT, anti-queer and trans experiences, but this is what's been said about us, and that's really scary, because I don't think it's a bad message to send out, especially from a a leading a leading country, But then again, are we not just mirroring what America is doing?
If you look at the world at the moment, you basically have the two most, certainly trans-hostile countries in the world are the UK and the US, which if you'd have thought that, say 20 years ago, that would have been a preposterous idea, but it's true now. And I think what's happened is this whole debate around trans people with the gender critical movement just firing hate every single day. I mean, 10 years ago, I read that there were 65 stories in the whole year about trans people in the UK media, and nearly all of them were positive. Now, where we are, there are 1,200 stories in the last 12 months about trans people, every single one hostile, not a single one written by a trans person, barely any trans person quoted. And I think all of that has bled into society. And it's not just affecting trans people now. This is going to impact gay people. It's going to impact women, cis women, who maybe have short hair.
Gender non-conforming doesn't
they like to wear a suit.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're already hearing stories of people trying to use a loo, whether they're trans or cis, and they're being stopped.
Why did we go so wrong?
Politically, we've gone wrong. I think what's happened is politicians are not strong on looking after the LGBT community.
Keir Starmer has no balls.
He's got no balls.
For sure. That's the only...
Flip-flop Keir.
At best. Yeah.
And Keir, this is the problem now.
And yes, this is directly
this is a serious point in that Keir Starmer changes with the wind. So he will adopt a policy. I mean, there's a famous photo. Jesse, if you're still around, dig out that photo now.
Yeah, you better get that picture.
Of
the pink t-shirt. Was it pink t-shirt?
Keir Starmer, Annalise Dodds and Angela Rayner at Camden Pride.
What's happened to Angela Rayner? Where is Angela Rayner? Can anyone tell me what's happening with her? I think this woman has an NDA or sort of non-disclosure agreement that she must not talk, she must not speak. I haven't seen her speak at all. I haven't seen her doing anything or speaking for, not even for the community in general. Where are you, Angela Rayner? What are you doing? What's going on?
Yeah, well, I think this is the problem with the Labour.
I don't know. This is a really, honestly, I'm actually quite concerned for her. And do you know what? This takes us to what are we thinking about Birmingham, London, Manchester, Brighton, Pride events, not welcoming.
All the big UK prides, for anyone who doesn't know, have actually taken the decision to ban all politicians. That includes parties that are saying that they are trans supportive. So the Greens, who have a good policy on trans people, they're banned from Pride.
I love a bit of Carla.
So are the SNP.
I love Carla.
So are the Lib Dems.
But do we have to ban them all, or selectively?
No. We need to ban them all.
Okay.
And that's because this has gone on now for 6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
The denigration of trans people and the gradual chipping away and the removing of our rights.
Yeah.
And even the ones who say...
transitions.
It's very easy for them to say, oh yeah, we're on the side of trans people.
But
you need to actually do something. And I do not see politicians, even from the trans supportive parties, really fighting.
But why are they not doing it?
You can't have a vote at the moment. I know from people who've messaged me directly, and I've seen other examples on social media, where firms are now actually sending out letters that all start with, here at Smith Brothers, we believe in dignity and respect and everyone is equal, but from Wednesday, our trans employees will no longer be using the toilet that they've used for 15 years. They now have to go down the corridor and turn left, which is just humiliating and stigmatizing. I couldn't work in that environment. Could you?
No. And I have a very... We share something else as well. We used to live in South Africa.
Correct.
We didn't even know this about ourselves.
And at the time of apartheid.
Yes, ma'am. Sad times. So we know firsthand what segregation is all about. Yeah. We know what real apartheid is. We've seen it. and I experienced it. And I came in at the age of 11 and I left at the age of 15, luckily. But it's a real thing. I saw it firsthand, and it was so uncomfortable to be told to act in this way.
Yeah.
Because that's what the minority were imposing on the majority.
Yeah.
But there is this movie, which is the NASA one. I'm trying to find the name. And they have a toilet moment where she is literally saying that officially from Monday, let's say, I'm going to go back to work, and from Monday I need to use that specific toilet. And it's a NASA thing, but it's, what was it called again? Anyway, she needs to, because obviously she's a person of color. And in those days, you couldn't use the white bathrooms, white restrooms. So she literally, this is the nuances of the film. It's a great movie. I think everyone should watch it. And I'm going to get the name for you. I'm just trying to find it. But she literally had to fulfill her basic needs, i.e. going to the toilet. She needed to come out of her office, the main building, run across the parking lot, go into another building.
I know the film you're talking of. I forgot the title. It's the woman that was involved in there was a big, was it a scientific thing? It's an American movie, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
It's based on a true story.
Yes, it is based on true stories. But this is nuances that we are referencing. This is exactly what's happening to us, or somewhat happening to us. We need to go to the 11th floor or to the basement somewhere, and they allocated this sort of space that you probably need a key and lock to have access to. But this is history repeating itself, guys.
You can't have this in 2025.
We cannot. This is outrageous. I'm not referencing black history here. I'm referencing what segregation
is.
Yeah. This is what I'm referencing. And yes, I love that movie. And God damn it, I have it somewhere. Yeah. And by the way, leave us the name of of the movie. But yeah, this is what we live in at the moment. Segregation, first-hand apartheid. We've lived it, we've seen it, and we've seen it now. So I think what is your own motivation here then at this point? If we've seen it all. What keeps us going?
Are you asking me a question?
Yeah.
What keeps...
I'm going into why we keep going.
How do you mean what keeps
Because
going?
given all these adversities, why
does it keep happening in history?
Yeah.
I just think that whatever decade you're in, and you can look back, there's a streak of humanity that always has to have a group to hate on. So it's happened to gay people, it's happened to black people, it's happened to Asian people, it's happened to Jewish people, obviously. And I don't think there's a way of actually removing that from human beings. It's always going to be there, but it is just so tiresome and frustrating that it's essentially the same thing that keeps happening. And no matter how educated we become or aware, and we can look back in history books and say, yeah, that was absolutely terrible.
But we keep doing it.
Occurring.
Should we all have our chromosome checks as the moment we're born?
No, because chromosomes. Well, chromosomes aren't the be all and end all.
I don't even know I have that in paper.
Who knows their chromosomes?
This is what I mean. I don't know my own chromosomes.
There are people walking around who aren't trans. They're just cis people that technically have the wrong chromosomes.
Yes, absolutely. But you and I know this.
Yeah.
But why are we not offering that as
because it's just not needed, and I think
why is it not? I think it's needed. At this point, we have nothing to lose. Why not have a general sort of understanding? Everybody comes back with a sort of
no, because you're going down the Nazi path.
Am I?
Yeah, because
this is it's
the
not...
Nazis were into something called eugenics, where
okay.
Where they would literally.
I don't want to go down the Nazi part.
They would look at anatomy and biology and categorize people. We need to get away from that.
Really?
I think if somebody identifies as trans, that's enough. As long as they're not hurting anyone or harming anyone, what is the actual problem?
Tell me this. What comes first? Gender or sex?
I think they come hand in hand, don't they? Because to me, they're one and the same.
Okay.
Like,
They're intertwined.
I think the gender word is really interesting because you can have gender as a definition of, you know, boys like blue and boys do rough and tumble stuff and girls like ballet and pink. But there's also biological gender, which is like the internal self of who you are.
Sure.
So and I'll explain it this way. So
I don't know why you're pointing at me, but yes, I am human.
So I'm going to use you as an example. So let's say, God forbid, please do not let this happen because Nadia is a national treasure. Please do not let this happen.
What?
But let's just say tomorrow, you got run over by a bus.
Oh my God!
And they took you into hospital, and they looked at the damage, and they said, "All right, well, we're going to have to change your anatomy." And when you woke up from the operation, you actually had a male body. Would you be able to live as a man? No, because the bit inside you.
This is why.
That's your biological gender. That's saying no. This isn't who I am.
This is why I'm going to say. I want to answer the question as well because I'm making myself the question. I'm giving myself the question. Is I was born with my gender first, and I was assigned with my sex second. That's how I see it.
Correct.
Because the most traumatic time for me was me trying to assimilate with my sexual assigned sex, birth, constraints, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
That was the worst part of my life, trying to assimilate according to that gender marker. That's what I call assimilating for me. It was the most disparaging, horrible. I was none of that.
Horrible,
I was none of that. So but I do know my gender from day one.
Correct. Was female.
For sure.
And same here.
I spoke to my mom, everybody, everyone around me. Before I knew what it was, I knew there was a differentiation between what, you know.
Exactly. And that's why. I mean.
But are they not listening to this? Why are they calling us the gender ideology? And trauma. Oh, there's another one. Trauma responses and all of that.
Because they're full of shit and they just make stuff up. There's all sorts of things going on. There's religion involved.
Let's not bring. Well, you know, let's not bring religion.
Religion is a really big driver of the gender critical.
I'm not saying at this moment. Yeah. I see. Yeah.
The religious right in America are the biggest financiers of the gender critical movement worldwide. They pour millions of pounds into it, or dollars, as it were. So religion is key. And I think religious people tend to be conservative with
it's those donations, isn't it? It's those Sunday baskets full of money given to the church and then comes back anti. That's
right. Anyway, let's change the topic a little bit.
I don't know.
So let's ask each other 3 questions. So,
you're gonna ask me 3 questions.
I'm going to ask you 3 questions, just random ones.
Okay.
So, what's your favourite crisps?
Oh, I love a salt and vinegar.
Salt and vinegar. A particular brand?
There is a particular brand. I'm actually into the Saints. Oh, my mouth is I'm salivating now because that's one of the things I go to. I love the Co-op on brand and I love the Sainsbury's on brand. Salt and vinegar. I think there's balsamic vinegar as well.
I like cheese crisps, but a particular type. You can only buy them in Cumbria in southwest Scotland, and they're called XL cheese crisps. And they are like super cheesy.
Is it the XL that's doing it for you?
Well, no, not XL, I think 5. I think the XL refers to the strength of the flavour. But so you get smelly breath from them, but they are super. Another question, are you cat or dog?
Oh, my heart baby. Hello everybody, my dear boy over the Rainbow Bridge.
Let me see. Oh!
To this day, my heart child, my heart baby, my dear. I still cry to this day. So emotional. Honestly, pet bereavement is the worst thing anyone can go through. Honestly, I don't know how people do. I don't even know how I'm coming out of it.
What was he called?
His name was Tiny, baby. You never put baby in the corner, do you?
Did
Do you know the reference?
Yeah, from Dirty Dancing. Of course.
Oh well, maybe actually that's not a bit. Maybe yeah.
I'm very culturally aware.
I know. Well, actually, I think I'm doubting your pop culture.
Oh,
sorry. No.
Rest assured, I'm.
So yes, I'm a dog person, but I don't mind a bit of
Well, we've got that in common as well. I used to have a dog called Lucky growing up, and he was a bit of a mix of everything, but he had a special talent. He used to be able to catch the bus, and he worked out where the bus stop was near our house.
Are you kidding me?
And he used to wear it. It gets even better.
They're so clever. They're amazing. I don't know.
He used to catch the bus and go to the butcher's, and the butchers knew he would turn up, and he would get sausages. And the butcher had a Rolls Royce, a gold Rolls Royce, and on occasional days he would bring Lucky back to us in a gold Rolls Royce. It sounds like a children's book, but it is absolutely.
No, I'm sorry.
True.
My child will never leave. Will never ever be out of my sight.
Okay, I'm going to ask you the third question then. Favorite.
Even if it's a Rolls Royce involved in that, my baby was always with me. I'm sorry.
Third question. Favorite film, movie.
Oh gosh, there's different depending on the decades. Decades? Okay, my English, my foreign accent syndrome.
I like decades. The way you said that. Yeah,
Exactly.
Decades. Yeah.
I think obviously one of the growing up. I
love your accent, by the way.
Do you?
Actually,
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a weird one, but thank you. Yours is just average.
Common. Irish.
An average.
Oh, I thought you said Irish.
No, average. No, I'm sorry. I mean, obviously, I grew up with Pretty Woman.
Mm-hmm.
Richard Gere, Julia Roberts. I mean,
film.
who doesn't love that? I love Lucy, which is Charlie Theron. I love Consciousness as well. Kind of like meta universe, whatever it's called.
So do you like kind of science fiction?
Yeah, I do. Because there's ultimately there's something much larger than what we are living and experiencing right now in this moment, either through vibrational frequencies, space and time.
Oh my God, you're so deep.
I didn't even know I understand half of this stuff, but I'm into it. So I kind of love that, and I think we've just explored a tiny percentage of what we truly are. So I can't wait almost like for transhumanism of sorts.
Yeah, I think we need Nadia
like a consciousness, I don't know. Anyway, what's your
Nadia and Nadia? Well, my favourite films. I'm a sucker for a good musical, so I love Grease. I must have seen Grease at least 1,000 times. Just every single song in there. I love the choreography on Born to Hand Jive. I think that's the best song in there. I love obviously Dirty Dancing. La La Land. Have you seen La La Land?
Yeah, I'm not into musicals. I don't mind seeing it on stage, like in a stage physically, but on TV it doesn't do it for me. Musicals. Sorry, we don't have that in common.
Right, and the other thing, the other film that I always.
It's not a competition, by the way. It's just.
The other film that I always go back to is Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Have you ever seen that? Paul Newman, Robert Redford.
You need to send me a link.
Oh,
I need to check it out.
They're basically two outlaws on the run. They're a bit like me and you, outlaw, living on the edge.
Yeah.
Everyone's after them. But at the end...
Are we disruptors? Are we
I think
living
we
on the
are.
edge?
And at the end of the film, it's a cowboy film, they're cornered. But they're super gunslingers, so they're kind of confident that even though they're outnumbered outside, that they can go out and shoot everybody. But what they don't
is that an American thing?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, is this cowboys versus settlers?
You're going off on a tangent. Just listen.
Well, because that's what I grew up with. Shoot cowboys versus natives. American natives. No, sorry.
This is two outlaws on the run.
Okay.
And they get cornered in a saloon. But because they're red hot gunslingers, they think they can still shoot their way out. But what they don't know is that while they've been hemmed in there, the army have turned out. So they run out, and the final shot is them coming out of the saloon like this in slow-mo. You're missing all the action, Nadia.
I am trying to visual. I'm thinking Dancing with the Wolves. Is that what it is?
No. Nothing like Dancing with the Wolves.
By the way, yeah.
whatsoever.
Okay, I get it. I'm sure some of you will know what India is talking about. I personally don't, but I'm happy to look into it. So you need to send me a link.
One thing that we haven't mentioned that we actually have in common, which is a little bit unusual, and I think this is the universe speaking to us, is that India and Nadia are almost...
God. Guys, listen to this.
India and Nadia are almost anagrams. There's only 5 letters between India and Nadia. Even in India,
I even didn't know. I myself didn't know.
Even if you include the and, that's included in both our...
Yeah. The only difference, I have 2 double A's and she has double I's.
Correct.
So, if you make of that what you wish. I don't know if that means anything, but it's just our name spelled with the same 5 letters. And A and D.
I just want to go back to Big Brother. That's kind of where we started, because that's the main thing that we had in common. Okay. So I want to ask you, what was the best thing and the worst thing about your Big Brother experience?
My best experience was being in the house, in that sort of outside of this the real world. It was Big Brother for me was the safest place I ever experienced in my whole life. It's been my longest love affair, because I think Big Brother is to be a heterosexual man. There's so many best memories, but that encapsulates everything in that.
And it was such a great time. I mean, I remember watching as a viewer in 2004, and obviously the reaction was just stupendous. You won the country over. You were a sweetheart.
And how people were like going against and being misgendering, and people came out strong against those narratives that what's happening opposite today. Then people really coming forward and said, hold on a second, let's treat Nadia with a little bit of respect. Hence they changed the misgendering, dead naming, all of those things, but it still happened throughout the whole thing. But it was at different times, even simpler times. It was 20 years ago, but I guess it was simpler times. Even with the Barclays situation, I think there's a little bit going on with that. But Barclays was when I was working before I went to do the show.
Of course, because obviously Barclays, for anyone who doesn't know, Barclays have been in the news recently because they're bringing in trans-apartheid. So they've sent a memo around to all staff saying that from Monday, all trans employees will now have to use separate toilets. But Nadia, used to work for Barclays.
During and after gender affirming care, whatever you want to call it. So I don't know if they... I don't... So I'm very surprised, but I guess everything changes. I mean, 10 years ago we were number 1 on the rainbow map, so now, am I surprised? But at the time I was working for Barclays, and they gave me my sort of, I don't know if they gave me or had no choice, I'm not sure, or they tolerated me, but I went through my process of whole, absence from work, to recover, whilst working for Barclays. So they were accepting of sorts at that time. It's just impeccable. It just amazes me that.
So they were really good at that time.
To me, it was. So, even the bathroom things, and I work with all types of people in the staff bathrooms and toilets. Going back to that sort of, what bathroom. There was never any issue. The only issue I always called out for was being too loud and too or too late or late in for work. But it was those issues to my best understanding or my remembering, they were never brought up.
When you did Big Brother in 2004, were you working for Barclays then?
Yeah, I was.
So they gave you time off to do the show? Or?
Well, I'm not sure if they gave me time off. I kind of gave them an excuse because I couldn't tell them what it was.
Of course, yeah.
And I should have, but then I resigned afterwards, after the show.
Yeah. So you didn't need Barclays after Big
Brother.
I
think they were quite happy. I'm not sure. I think I remember vaguely HR coming into me and saying, Nadia,
They were happy you were leaving?
No. I think they just said to me something along the lines, Nadia, obviously now we know why you were absent for all this time. And
hello, Barclays, I can't commit today.
It was insane, honestly. I think actually it was quite unprofessional that not telling them truthfully what was happening, because they would. But then again, I don't know. Yeah, so essentially I resigned after leaving Big Brother. So yeah, Barclays did me good. I'm not sure what's going on right now, but I guess everything changes. This is what I mean. Nothing should be taken for granted. We sometimes fall in this sense of false sense of security, and then suddenly it's all taken away from you. But yeah, on that note, I'm not sure what Barclays is going with that. And also this whole watchdog, what is it, equality watchdog, that's been disputed again. So no one should be quickly to jump into those interim guidelines that within first 3 days at the Friday 10 o'clock. They are under review and consultation again.
Yeah, I think a few firms are going to get a shock. They're going to end up getting sued.
So I think they better hold on. I think it's important to not go into those extremities, i.e. Barclays and some other public police transport, whatever the transport.
British Transport Police.
That. They also come out very quickly, and some other organizations, but you need to calm down, guys. This is not, it's under consultation, and it's, I'm not sure where this is going.
That's the British Transport Police, who announced the day after the UK Supreme Court ruling that in future all trans people would be searched. They actually announced that trans women would be searched by male officers, which is just insane, because obviously if you're a trans woman with female anatomy...
And listen, we're not men haters here. We don't hate men. We love men.
Yeah.
I love men, right?
But it's the
same dignity and respect. Do you know what I mean? That's what it is.
I also think we need allies.
Yes,
more than
we
ever.
have
we need ordinary people. If you see a trans person being confronted or challenged or humiliated, then we actually need allies, either in the workplace or socially. If you see somebody being stopped at a toilet, you don't have to get aggressive about it, but step in and say something. This isn't on.
As I would do for any of you other.
Yeah, we would do for other people.
My message, guys, honestly, it's been so awesome. India, I love being here with you.
I haven't told you about my Big Brother experience. I want to tell you quickly.
Oh, go on, if you have to. it wasn't that impactful.
How cheeky. I hold the record for the longest stay for the first evictee, which was 14 days, which is a long time.
Really?
Yeah, everyone else I was the only person in my series that came out by myself because the ratings were so good. But everyone else had to come out in pairs and trebles because they had to catch up, with the run of the thing. But I was in with a terrible crowd. So I was in with Rachel Johnson, Boris's sister.
Oh my God, of course, yes, I remember her.
Anne Widdecombe.
Oh, you were in for a handful there.
It was like
I remember your moment. I remember your moment because she was our client in our salon.
Really?
That specific lady.
I hope you gave her a bad haircut.
Well, no, I've never done her. Then her wife.
Nadia's a hairdresser, by the way.
At one point or another, seasonal. I'm a seasonal
hairdresser.
Yeah.
You keep your hands
I can say seasonal because I'm an immigrant myself, so do not say those things. I can say it. But yeah, I've done her partner, but she was, it was so weird.
Can I tell you something that keeps getting brought up? And obviously you know what it's like on Big Brother better than anyone probably in the world, right? Yeah. The way it is actually cut has a big impact on how you're perceived. Do you know what the opening shot they used on the very first episode of my season on Celebrity Big Brother?
Oh yeah, go on.
Was me stood in the mirror. I just got out the shower, and I was kind of like, washing this area.
Your top off?
But with my top up. But a season of Celebrity Big Brother, let's say it was a cis woman, they wouldn't open the very first shot of that season of a cis woman stood in front of the mirror naked with her boobs out.
I think they probably have done that. I'm sorry. I don't think they did. I mean, I did it freely, and it was so liberating. That was so liberating
because
for us.
Because it comes back to that freak element about trans people.
I see. Yeah. See, do you see yourself? This is an interesting question. Can I ask you this? Do you see yourself as trans or woman first?
Woman. This is really interesting. When I first came out, it was absolutely just woman. But because it's got so toxic and it's kind of became a war, I felt kind of like, fuck you. I'm going to grab the trans label and I'm going to go with it. Because I think me and you, we're in a situation where if we weren't known through our media work, we could just blend in and have like a normal life, and it wouldn't be a hassle. It's not like we stand out as obviously trans. But whereas I started out thinking I don't want anything to do with the trans label, it's like a tiny aspect of who I am.
I negated many of times that label.
Because it is, I think we agree with that, it is a small part of who we are.
It's just a second trans.
But now, because it's become such an issue, and I hate bullies, I've kind of embraced it and thought, right, well, yeah, I am trans. What are you going to do about it?
I don't have a thick skin as you do, or the courage as you do. But since what's been happening currently, I am very protective. When you're going to introduce me or be somewhere, like in a public forum or in a discussion platform, ITV radio, please don't introduce me as transgender. Do not do that. I am a transgender woman.
Yeah.
And I've become more protective about that, because do not introduce me as trans. I'm not a trans.
Correct.
I am a transgender, but that's what it is. And now I'm becoming more hyper aware of that. Yeah. So I've made sure that everyone treats me fairly respectfully.
Can you imagine somebody going on a chat show and they say, our next guest is Graham Norton, he's a gay presenter. It doesn't make any sense, but that's not okay to do, and I'm very protective of that now since the Supreme Court ruling. 3 fire questions for you now, Mrs. What would be your superpower? Oh, I'd like to be invisible. I've always.
I have that in my top 3 as well.
Yeah, I think it would be great. Because I like people watching, so I'd like to kind of float around and just dip into different, conversations that were happening. I think that would be a really
That's my top 3.
What would your...
That was my top 3. Or telekinesis, like moving things around.
Yeah. I think you've got that. I think you've got...
No, I don't think I do.
I think you're good at reading.
Okay, let's... Oh, thank you. No, I'm not sure if I'm good at reading cues. I'm just very spontaneous.
You're actually terrible.
Spontaneous.
You're actually terrible at knowing when to shut up.
That is true. But when you have your hand raised up, it makes me challenging you. Well, hold on a second.
I was trying to
JK Rowling, your best friend. Do you love JK Rowling?
I think... No, I do not.
But you... Okay.
But, I think... I think there's a kind of thing that's gone on between us. I think she hates me and I hate JK Rowling. And I think my hate is absolutely justified. But I think it has become a kind of Joan Crawford, Bette Davis kind of thing on the internet. So a lot of people now kind of look forward in a kind of warped car crash kind of way to see JK Rowling having a pop at me and me having a pop at her. Obviously she's got 14 million followers, she's a billionaire, so the kind of reaction
disproportionate
to her is disproportionate to me with only 75,000 followers. But I just think she is the best example of somebody being radicalized on the internet in history. It should be taught in schools.
Elon Musk
I think
as well.
She probably started out as a good person, but she's gone down rabbit hole after rabbit hole after rabbit hole, and now she is full on
trauma response. That's what's happening with her.
She's the queen of the gender critical movement.
Trauma response,
de facto, as in she doesn't, she hasn't set out to achieve that deliberately,
That's her
she's become that. She's almost like a saint. She's an icon to the gender critical movement, and she's trashed her legacy. Trust me, history will not remember.
She's too rich to care about the fucking legacy, I'm telling you. She's too rich. She's a billionaire. Why would she care about our
History will not remember.
That's true. It will not be
JK
kind.
Rowling, primarily for Harry Potter. She will be remembered primarily in history.
True.
For her transphobia. And I think there's a real sadness, even though I think the other thing about me and JK Rowling, we were both born in the same year. So 1965, I don't know what the astrology is, but I think we're both like in this to the death almost. So neither of us is going to give in. So
would
this
you
is
sit
going to go on
together
forever and ever.
have a conversation?
Yeah, I've asked her many a time.
Have you?
And I would honestly sit down like this.
Yeah.
JK, Joe, Joanne, whatever you prefer to be called. This is a genuine offer, and I think it would be a really great thing to do. Why don't we meet up sometime? We will have a chat like this. I promise you it won't get shouty or anything like that.
No,
we'll
we
just
don't do
put
that.
both our points of view and have a chat.
I just want to be a fly on the wall.
The only thing I wouldn't do, I wouldn't do an edited version. It would have to be live. I know for a fact people have been in touch with me and they've asked me the BBC and ITV and Channel 4. They are happy to do that. Me and JK having a chat any day of the week.
I do think that both of you are two peas in a pod, to be quite honest. And you have a lot more in common than you probably allow yourselves to be.
In a parallel universe, I could see us actually being friends in a bizarre kind of way. But
100%.
we're not in that universe.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
But I can see, and I think love, depending how you translate emotion, love and hate is pretty much the same emotion and feeling. It's how you distribute it. So I think there's a lot of love and hate there.
There's so many hidden depths.
There is.
This is why we've got to make this a genuine thing.
I think you really are two peas in a pod. You, Miss India, Mrs. India, and JK Rowling are two peas in a pod that are really quite ballsy ladies, women are there doing it for themselves.
Thank heavens. I thought you were going to go down the route of, I could see you and JK Rowling getting it together.
I don't think she will at this point. Well, you know, listen, I'm a optimist.
Because I definitely wouldn't.
I want to be hopeful. I'm a possibilist. Possibilitist.
That's okay. I've never heard that word before, but it sounds good, and I know what you mean.
Yeah, thank you. And I'm hopeful maybe one day she will change her mind.
Oh, I don't think that's ever going to happen. She's too far down the rabbit hole, sadly. But I would say to anyone watching this has been a kind of experiment, the first one.
Yeah.
If you've really enjoyed it, somebody who knows all about podcasts has told me to say, please subscribe. Please subscribe. So I don't want to sound all salesy, but if you've kind of enjoyed it. Well, I think what we're trying to do here, essentially, you know, trans people, we talked about, you hear about us all the time, but you very rarely actually hear from the horse's mouth. Yeah. Not that me and Nadia are horses.
No.
But
I'm a pony. I identify as a pony.
In the India
unicorn. I'm a unicorn.
In the Nadia India show.
Yeah. We're going to take turns.
This is two trans women talking.
Trans-based, trans-led podcast from us.
And I think
one of many firsts.
Do you know what
we have so many firsts in our lives, don't we?
Yeah, I think,
and this is just another one. I think we're gonna start off with the YouTube's world, so it's important to have the likes and subscribes. But what's important for us, as this is a kind of like the introduction to what could be possible, is to have feedback, i.e., comment, let us know, be involved. Tell us everything.
What you want to talk about.
Yes, exactly.
What issues.
And I promise you, I will have less coffee next time, and I'll be a little bit more calmer. And I just want to say thank you to the studios here. They've allowed us a lot of grace and a lot of extra time, because we could be going on forever right here. It's just us two.
Do you know what we've got to polish out though, Nadia?
Go on.
We've got to polish out this giving each other time to answer.
Have we?
Yeah.
Did we?
No, we can overlap now and again, but we did overlap. But I think it's been really good.
Cheers,
and I hope you've enjoyed it. You're so
Cheers,
good.
water with water. Thank you so much. I love this.
I
India.
love you as well. Thank you.
To many more. Thank you guys. See you soon.
Bye everybody.